Hey world, my name is Kelsey, and it's time for me to start living my purpose. I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. I tried starting a podcast a couple years ago. I did one episode. And then 2 years later, I started working on a second episode, but it turned more into a song, so I just posted that for my friends to see on Facebook. I don't know how they felt about it. I'm not much of a singer, but it felt good to express what I needed to express in that way. And started thinking about what I might do for my third podcast. And it turned into, I should make a YouTube video. So, here we are. I'm making a YouTube video. We'll see how it goes. But I'm going to try to not do any cuts and edits. I'm just going to try to do one stream all the way through. Partially because I hate technology. I hate messing around with trying to fix and edit stuff on devices. And part of it's because I'm okay with natural hiccups in human communication. It's all part of the thinking and communicating process. I'll try to keep it as smooth as I can without stumbling too much or getting sidetracked too much, but I just feel like I gotta share my story because I've been through a little bit in life. A lot of it. And I've had immensely beautiful opportunities to heal, to do so much healing. It was 15 years ago this month that my father was sentenced to 80 years in prison. It's given me 15 years to learn, to reflect, to heal, and surprisingly, to find love in my heart for my father, who hurt me so deeply. And the reason that I've been able to heal, well, there have been a few, but one of the biggest reasons has been the love and the support that I've received from so many people throughout this whole ordeal. I don't know how I got so lucky, because nobody gets the kinds of resources and support that I got. And I got every bit of support and resources and love that everyone going through who has been through childhood sexual abuse deserves. And I would say that maybe 0.0001% get all the resources and support and love that they need. And I'm part of that. And I see absolutely nothing else to do with what I've experienced other than to share it with others in hopes that we can grow this love and more people will find that they can be that support and that love for other victims of childhood sexual abuse, and that victims of childhood sexual abuse themselves can find hope that there is healing, that it is possible, that no matter how much physical, emotional, mental, psychological, spiritual pain you're in, there is hope. There is hope for healing. It might not seem like there is. Sometimes it's hard to see that there's a light at the end of this dark tunnel. But I promise you it's there. And I know that if enough people learn how they can be a support for others, and if enough people start talking about the trauma that they've experienced, I really think that we can heal some stuff. And I really think that we can prevent childhood sexual abuse. And it all starts with talking about it. It's one of the most difficult topics to discuss. It's the deepest pain. It's taking the most intimate piece of a person and destroying it before they even have any recognition of that piece of themselves. Sexual abuse toward a child destroys people. It destroys the spirit, the soul. It removes the connection between life-giving pieces of ourselves and ourselves. For years, I couldn't stand the touch of one of my partner's mouths on my nipples because of what my father did to me. I couldn't stand the thought of being around anybody with a penis naked because of what my father did to me. Now, I am so blessed to have a beautiful man in my life who I absolutely love and who I absolutely trust. And that's only because I've been able to do so much healing. Because of the people who have loved and supported me. Like my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Kathy. She has been an absolute guardian angel for me. The first thing I heard about her, though, when I was in 4th grade, was from this other girl who was in her 4th grade class, and she told me, Mrs. Kathy is a beep. And I believed her. Because I didn't have any other, I didn't know not to believe people yet. So I believed her, and I thought that this Mrs. Kathy was a terrible woman. And I got into her 5th grade class. And I cried. I cried when I was assigned her class. I wanted any other teacher but her. I laugh at that now because she's been the brightest, most beautiful light to come into my life. I've had many beautiful lights, but she certainly saved my soul in a lot of ways. About a month after I told about my father sexually abusing me when I was a child. Now, this was 3 years, almost 3 years since it stopped by the time I told. But when I told, and I was in 8th grade, long past her 5th grade class, she gave me this journal. And she told me, you don't have to write about what's going on with the trial, with the investigation, with your father, but you might find it helpful to write. And I always hated writing, and I hated reading, because as a child I had a real hard time with it. So I was in a special ed class, and I got teased and bullied because of it in my younger years. And so I didn't like reading and writing. It was uncomfortable for me, but I really respect this woman, so I decided to give her method a chance, especially since she gave me this cute journal. And writing is what got me through the investigation. Writing is what got me through that trial. And through so much of the healing that I've been able to do in the 15 years since. And it all started with this. Nobody around me knew how to take in what I wanted to express. I wanted to share with my friends, with my teachers, with anyone who would listen, what I was going through. But nobody knew how to take it. Nobody knew how to respond. Nobody even knew how to listen. Other kids were joking around. Even my friends who knew what I'd been through made chomo jokes, child molester jokes, and jokes about rape and all sorts of stuff. And so I couldn't talk to anyone around me about it. I didn't really even have the words. I didn't know how to talk about it yet, but writing gave me the tools to learn how to express it, because it was a safe space to express what I needed to express. This book listened. This book cared. And now I get to look back on it and I get to read it from my adult perspective. And I get to share that with my young self, with my young 13, 14-year-old self. And this gift that Michelle gave me, Mrs. Kathy, I call her Michelle now, she's still in my life. 20 years later, this woman is still committed to me. She sent me a birthday card this year. She is still committed to being a love and support in my life. And I don't know how I lucked out so much. I truly wish that every single victim of childhood sexual abuse had a Mrs. Kathy. Because if that were the case, I believe everyone could heal from their trauma. I had many, many, many supports, but I think that sometimes, if there's just one person that believes in you, you can do it. And I'm here to say that I believe in you. I might not know you, whoever you are watching this, but I believe in you. I believe in your ability to heal your own wounds. And I believe in your ability to help others heal their own wounds. That is what life is about. That is what my life is about. I've been through a lot of trauma, and I've been through a lot of healing, and there's nothing else to do with it other than to share it now. So, I'm going to try to share a few more videos. Hopefully it's a bit more successful than my podcast, which I didn't really continue with, but maybe I'll be able to keep pushing on these videos, because now I know I'm at a point that I need to share this. Eventually I'll write a book or two, but for right now I just need to start sharing. I don't have the time and the resources to dedicate to writing my whole book right now, but these little videos here and there, I can do that. And I just want to say, y'all, just listen. If a kid tells you that they're being sexually abused, believe them. No matter how hard it seems to believe. Even if they tell you who it is and you think there's no way that person could have done that. Believe the kid. So few make it up. They'd have to have one hell of an imagination to make it up. And most just don't. The biggest thing that helped me heal, that's helped me be loved through all of this experience, was the moment I told my mother what had happened, what my father had done to me, what her ex-husband had done. She believed me. She ran to me. She loved me. She believed me. She didn't tell me, oh, it was probably a misunderstanding, or oh, you don't know that, that's not what happened. She didn't tell me to ignore it. I've heard from so many victims, that their mothers, their own mothers didn't believe them. I've heard from some that their own mothers were the ones committing the abuse or allowing the abuse. I was so lucky that my mother believed me. And I knew it then. And that's only been more ingrained in me since, after hearing so many sad stories of other victims who have not gotten the love and the support that they need. I really hope that in sharing my story and speaking my truth, I can inspire more people to believe victims and to be a support for them, to show up for them, to give them a notebook and say, here's a place you can express what you're feeling. To give them a drawing pad and some pencils. And just open up a space for them to communicate, for them to express, that's safe, free of judgment. There's so much more that we can do. And I'm going to try to share tips in little bits here and there. Try not to make the videos too long, because I know it's a heavy topic. But it's got to be talked about. It's just plain and simple. We need to start having a conversation about this. And I know it's hard when you've been through it yourself and you've not gotten the support you need. It can be so traumatizing, debilitating even, to try to talk about it. But if you find the strength within you and the heart within you and the stability within you to be a support for somebody who's possibly going through it too, or has been through it and just needs to not be alone, try to find your strength to share your story. Whether it's with one person or two or four, one person every 5 years, or 500 every week. Just try to share it with somebody. We need to start talking about childhood sexual abuse. That's the only way to end it.